Ladies and gentlemen, we are now gathered to induct the newest members of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. And by inducting our newest members of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, as I always say over and over and over again here on Sportswire Radio, when I have these guys on, hopefully we can stay trendy. But as I continue to talk about all of the great people that have been inducted into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, I truly believe that these two individuals, in many ways, will wind up becoming, in some form or another, Hall of Famers in addition to being in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. The reasons that I say that is because these two gentlemen have shown, whether it was in their time in Tennessee backyard wrestling and especially their legendary wars this past season in season 7, and especially the opening match of All Hallows Mania 3, where they opened the show and boy, they made it memorable. And you think about also the many times that they were on TBW TV, on Rampage, and viewership had went up. And it was really the feud, I would have to say, of the second half of 2023, when our newest members of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame just went at it as if there was no tomorrow. In addition to their time in TBW, they showcased themselves as emerging stars in a company called the SWF. Although I like to say that the SWF had dropped the ball on these individuals, but I have no doubt with two individuals that look like them that will certainly pick up the ball, run with it, and score some touchdowns and probably put them into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. At least two guys that sort of look like them. Maybe we'll get into that later. Maybe we won't. That could be a clue, though, for what these two individuals that look like them will be up to on future Sportswire radio shows for a group called the TSF Takes, which made their debut Friday night, and it was a rather lively one. As we spoke about Mike Tyson, although our newest member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame below could probably knock out Mike Tyson. He could easily knock out, I'm sure, Jake Paul, but I certainly won't get into that. But maybe we'll have him on and talk about that at some point down the road. But what the guys have showcased there, in many ways, is what our newest members of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame were starting to show, especially in Tennessee backyard wrestling, as they were helping a company grow. From when we first started talking about them to 4,000 subscribers on YouTube to now over 7,000. We saw these individuals also play a huge role in another one of our favorite companies, Resurrection Pro Wrestling, where a slew of stars have come on here from Sportswire Radio to talk about their journey. Many of those men who were in Resurrection Pro Wrestling got a chance to go side by side with our newest members of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. And little note that those who may be listening to this do not know about our newest members of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame is that they were going out there and training to be professional wrestlers, and they wound up using their experience and expertise to help many in the locker rooms that they shared in Resurrection Pro Wrestling and also in Tennessee backyard wrestling. And I always feel, in many ways, it's always about all wrestling matters on Sportswire Radio. And these individuals, in many ways, have showcased that they were all about that, whether it was in the independents, the underground, or the backyard wrestling scene. And of course, each men that are here with us, and each of these two individuals that will be with us, as I have no doubt, throughout the weeks and months ahead on Sportswire Radio, showcased in many ways what makes them unique as personalities. At the top, next to me on the right-hand corner, is a man, Alan Mikaels, who is the host of the Stay Trendy show. And he famously made that debut, and it made us all laugh with some guy that would call himself the Woo Man, the Nature Boy Gage Flair. Even the Nature Boy Gage Flair needed a little bit of coolness to stay relevant and maybe stay trendy, you might say, by being the first guest to appear on the Staying Trendy show, because clearly everybody in this man's presence has to stay trendy. The man below me certainly not below anybody, is what used to be called a Southern bulldozer, but wound up with his black hole slam becoming Armageddon Shane Davidson, a man that was well on his way, as I had stated many months ago, to being sort of the Kevin Nash of the modern day big man scene in backyard, underground, independent pro wrestling. And we got a little bit of a taste of that when we saw his run in Tennessee backyard wrestling, as we were all left wanting for more. But in that short time frame that he was here with us in TBW, we were certainly left with some long lasting memories, and especially throughout the summer, fall, and winter of the feud, ironically, of the two men that are actually in the Hall of Fame, about to be in about 5 or so minutes after I finish my long diatribe speech here. Certainly, hopefully it won't be as long as The Rock's on SmackDown, but I have a feeling that we're at least making people laugh on Sportswire Radio. As your master of ceremonies, the Reverend Tom Bryce, I seem to do a good job at that. But it's not about me, ladies and gentlemen. It's about these two men that I'm proud to call friends. And people ask me all the time, as the host of the Sports Report, the owner of Sportswire Radio, is your voice of all wrestling, where all wrestling matters, the Reverend Tom Bryce, what makes somebody a Hall of Famer? And what makes somebody the newest member or the newest members into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame? And I always answer that question to me. It's how you came across inside the ring and outside the ring. And I truly believe that these two individuals showed time and time again, both inside that square circle and outside that square circle, that they were and are Hall of Famers. And I would also point out that the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame is about all wrestling. And I believe that all forms of wrestling and all wrestlers that gave their life and gave their time away from their families, and especially at this level, where we kind of know why you do it, which is for the love of wrestling, as I had pointed out when I had inducted into the first member as our general manager in the front office for our Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame section, Hillbilly Tilly had long stated, in that before he had left, originally in backyard wrestling, his words were, "True backyard wrestlers do it for the love of wrestling." And these two individuals went out there and tried to chase their dreams and were successful at it because they did it for the love of wrestling. They started out as kids, wound up becoming teenagers and becoming adults, and they evolved throughout and before our very eyes and became established superstars for maybe the premier wrestling company around in backyard, underground, and even independent wrestling in Tennessee backyard wrestling. And I believe that is no small feat. And I also remind people when they talk to me about what do you think is somebody that qualifies for being in a Hall of Fame, I say it's not always about wins and losses, how many years you were in this business, how many championships you had. It's the time that you were in this sport, what impact and what long-lasting presence did you leave? And these two individuals, in my opinion, left a long-lasting impact, especially in the history of backyard wrestling, underground wrestling, and especially in Tennessee backyard wrestling, where we're still wondering a what if. But I can assure you, ladies and gentlemen, we will never wonder what if with these two gentlemen, because they will always have a home here on Sportswire Radio, and especially now because they're about to be Hall of Famers. As I always say before I'm about to close each speech, as I induct our newest member after newest member into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, I can go on and on and on about our newest members of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, and I actually will over the next hour. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to call one of their matches with a special guest of somebody that actually shared a locker room with them. And no, it's not going to be the Atomic Titan, but I can assure you it'll be somebody that is very well known on Sportswire Radio. Well, the Atomic Titan will get his day, but not quite tonight on Sportswire Radio. But as I've stated, I could go on and on and on about our newest members of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, and I do feel like, as I do each speech of these, and I've done over 50 of them at this point. They do go on longer and longer and longer. I'm kind of like the Energizer Bunny at this point when it comes to these speeches, but it is time to move on because I'd like to officially congratulate our third and fourth members of our sixth class into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, and our 53rd and our 54th members of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. God, I hope to live that long and do all of these speeches on Sportswire Radio. I certainly hope I can, live that long, and by that point, hopefully have like 53 or 5,400 members into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. But let me officially congratulate our newest members of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, Armageddon, Shane Davidson, and the trendsetter, Alan Mikaels. Now, before, guys, I give you that official congratulations, and I'm going to certainly try to stay trendy as I always do with each one of these, you guys have to get that introduction that everybody else has gotten. So many of your peers have gotten on Sportswire Radio. Even a few of your peers that you used to work with in Tennessee Backyard Wrestling have gotten. A couple of people that are in the Hall of Fame, TBW, like James Taylor. Hopefully you're okay with him. And certainly Mr. Joshua Allen. You could certainly plead the fifth on that one. But I will, as everybody's waiting for it, I'm certainly waiting for it because I want to do it because I love doing it also as much as everybody loves me to hear me do it. I am going to give you guys an introduction before we officially welcome you into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. So with that, without further ado, here on the Sports Report, number one, Sports Show, the newest members of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. I get it. Shane Davidson and the host of the Staying Trendy Show, the trendsetter, Aaron Fellas, congratulations. You're officially now members of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame.
Feels great to be here, Tom. Great to be here. You know, it's been about 6 or 7 months since we first came on here. You know, it's been a blast ever since. You know, it's always great to be on here talking to you.
That's very kind of you to say that because it really has been that long. You know, I think it's actually been, before I get to Shane, longer than that because we first spoke, I know, to each other on Instagram maybe like 9 months ago, and it feels like, wow, it's already been 6 or 7 months. Time flies when you're having fun and, you know, trying to stay trendy. But, you know, for you, Mr. Shane Davidson, how you doing? And congratulations on being a Hall of Famer.
You know, I appreciate it. I can say one thing. I still got more dubs than Alan Mikaels and TBW, and I'll still have more dubs.
Ooh, well, you know what? Save that drama in a little while because I'm going to certainly be going down memories lane and maybe going down All Hallows Eve and certainly making sure that we watch and rewatch that match once again back toward the end of season 7 and maybe even bring on a special guest in a little while. But as I always ask to start things off with everybody that's been inducted, and we have a great list of people in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. Leave aside some people that you used to work with in TBW, sans certainly the legendary Nemesis James Taylor, but we have Dean Allmark, who's defeated Jushin Thunder Liger, wrestled Jonathan Gresham when he was the ROH Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion. He's also defeated Bryan Danielson. We have RP Davis, the only person in the entire country of Britain to have been a boxing and wrestling major world champion. Luke Leyland, who fought in Dambe back in the African Warriors Fighting Championships in Nigeria. I mean, we've got Josh Fletcher from XCW. We've got Danny Burns, who played in the NCAA Final Four. We've got got Justin Parsley, my buddy Nicholas Crenson, Sean Jovi, Omen Black, Soldier GP. We can go on and on and on about many podcasts that are on the station. But for those that are listening and watching on Sportswire Radio, where all wrestling matters here, Alan Mikaels, the trendsetter, and Armageddon Shane Davidson, what does it officially mean to you now to be members of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame?
It means a lot to me. My dream growing up was to always kind of be on a platform that can reach a lot of people, and Sportswire is definitely that, and it just gives me great pleasure to know that I fulfilled one of my dreams. Just at least one of them has been fulfilled. I'm gonna keep chasing my dreams and keep on doing what I need to do. But it's besides the Hall of Fame induction. It's just great to have somebody like you, Tom, on our side. That's the best thing about this whole experience.
That's what it's all about. And I'll come back to my thoughts, but Armageddon Shane Davidson certainly give us some Black Hole Slam like of thoughts in being into the Hall of Fame.
See, the only person that's been behind that Black Hole Slam was Alan Mikaels. Anyway, that's besides the point. It's the thoughts of being a Hall of Famer, man. It's a lot to take in, because like having the title of a Hall of Famer, like even though it's like it's not WWE, it's still like it's meaningful and it's impactful to me. That lets me know that I'm doing the right thing and moving forward and not taking any small steps. I'm taking the right steps.
No, first of all, you guys definitely took the right steps. You guys definitely had a unique journey. You guys were trained wrestlers. You went into TBW, and again, you weren't there very long, but you showed that you would have a long-lasting presence there. You had one of the more memorable feuds and storylines there in 2023, certainly kind of like James in a way. We wish that we could have maybe got a chance to, finish the story, quote-unquote, but I think that nevertheless, the times that you were there and what we got to see, I think showed that you guys, are definitely people that are going to be around a long time. And I think it's about all wrestling that matters. And I said in my speech, and I say it each and every time when I induct someone or even bring people onto the show for the first time, Sportswire Radio is about supporting everybody in all types of wrestling, whether it's hardcore, whether it's technical, whether it's backyard, underground, semi-pro, independent, pro, and you guys went out there and put your bodies on the line. You guys went out there, as I stated, to do it for the love of the sport. You didn't do this to make millions. You didn't do this to go out there and expect a call from Paul Levesque, a.k.a. Triple H. You did it to kind of fulfill a childhood dream, and in my opinion, that's what actually makes a Hall of Famer. And I also said in my speech to induct you guys that I really truly believe that being a Hall of Famer also means what did you do to leave behind a legacy and your long-lasting impact. And I think that the times we saw you in TBW, that's going to certainly be shown, because when we saw you guys on Rampage, we saw you guys at All Hallows Mania, there was no question that you guys showed that viewership went up. When you guys were there, the views went up, the algorithms were up, and subscriptions went up. So at the end of the day, you guys were important in helping growing TBW. There's no question that, to me, you guys are Hall of Famers based on all those check marks.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's just, like I said, it's a lot to take in, I'm overwhelmed,
You mean as maybe overwhelmed as, I don't know. I was going to make a joke, but maybe I'll hold off on that joke till James comes in, because James will probably have something crazy to say. But I hope you're not as overwhelmed, because you're always staying trendy, Alan Mikaels. I mean, listen, think about it. I mean, we got to see the Staying Trendy show for the first time, and, even the Nature Boy, the Woo Man, was trying to stay trendy by coming on your show. And I think that's a part of being into the Hall of Fame, is that you had somebody of his stature that came onto your show. So at the end of the day, that does show that you guys are certainly worthy to be in the Hall of Fame, basically.
Oh, yeah, I mean, we was definitely making splashes, and I kind of wish we could have finished our story. No mean to rip off a Cody or nothing, but I even wanted to see the outcome of that. Whole interaction.
We all know the outcome. We've seen it at All Hallows Mania, dude. Relax.
Yeah,
We don't know that though. We'll never know unless maybe there's a way of Sportzwire. If we can find a way, I mean, if somebody, I have continued to say it that I am willing to stream live wrestling. I don't know how we could do it on Sportswire, but if somebody wants to set up a ring somewhere, and I'm happy to broadcast it, I'll call the match. We'll make sure we have the right finishes here. We'll make sure everybody's happy. I mean, I know everybody has their opinions of different companies out there, but if there's a will and a way and we can finish that storyline one more time, I would love to have it here on Sportswire. I'll go on the record in saying that.
I mean, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. But right now, I think I'm just focused on, TSF takes and.
But that's somebody that isn't you. It looks like you though.
the trendsetters focus on staying trendy. I'm trying to keep that trendiness up.
Well, I'll tell you what, real quick. Now, shout out to the guys, like you guys that came on Friday night show. But I had like my most viewed Friday night regular sports show, not counting when we have the IMF guys come on with group. They're going to be here in the first half of it, and then we'll have the TSF takes guys. You guys come back on Friday night. But it was my most viewed on YouTube and Twitter for my Friday night regular sports show, and I think at least like maybe 6 months, 7 months. It just shows you that people, they want to stay trendy with you guys.
Oh, I mean, I honestly do believe that we have a lot of personalities in our group, and we
I'm
definitely
excited
have
about that. By the way, yeah, I'm excited about that show coming up Friday.
We have a lot of strong opinions, and a lot of people in our group. You can change their mind about some stuff, but I mean, there's some things that they're gonna stick to their guns on, and that's what I just like about us. And we're young, we know a little bit of the lingo, and
lingo. I mean, I struggle with lingo. I mean, I do so many of these speeches. I have to do so many of these shows. Sometimes I'm struggling to come up with lingo. I mean, listen. I mean, and I do this literally like in my sleep. So I mean, we're all struggling with lingo in some way.
Oh yeah, but we try to keep on things. We had a couple things come out in free agency today that I haven't.
I did see that. Haven't
got a chance to report it just yet. But
Friday we're gonna have a lot of football talk. I have no doubt. I mean, poor Rob Maraska. I mean, the baseball guy, but I have a feeling that as much as I'm a baseball guy, I have a feeling it's going to be a lot of football talk. A lot of football talk on Friday's show, which is good for ratings. Listen, I mean, at this point, I mean, whatever's best for business at this point. To quote that guy that used to be owning WWE, and well, I guess his son-in-law, you can still say his name, Triple H, Paul Levesque, but it seems to be good for business, and I'm looking forward to football talk. So yeah, I mean, you guys certainly brought the ratings, you brought the views, and I was probably the best, like I said, viewed Friday night sports show between YouTube and Twitter, and like I said, maybe 7 months.
I mean, it's been a pretty exciting offseason so far. I mean, it's pretty easy to talk about. NFL's giving us stuff to chat about, and there's some trades that happened today. I mean, it's been the safety market in general, but that's football talk.
That's football. That's guys
Fridays.
That look like you. That's guys that look like you, but aren't you? You guys are obviously, when we saw you in the SWF, and to heck with the SWF. I mean, certainly the SWF didn't know talent when they had it in front of them. I mean, they had future stars. They had future world champions written all over it. I mean, what a joke. Say nothing here on this. What a joke the SWF was. I see Alan Mikaels standing there on Facebook in some promo, and they've got him there not using the man's abilities, not using the fact that the man's an accomplished rapper, an accomplished talker, who's been a talk show host, and they let him get beat up by some guy that probably is could be anywhere on some rest stop at in front of a gas station in the middle of Bumble, who knows where, and probably has never drawn a dime in his whole career. I've probably drawn more dimes on Sportswire Radio doing my reels than this guy is drawing in the wrestling business, and he was putting you to pasture. And then you, Armageddon Shane Davidson, you were basically a man that looked like to be primed and poised, maybe to be a long-time main eventer in TBW. And I see you there basically almost, it was like they were almost crushing you like a coconut almost, like when Roddy Piper crushed a coconut over the head of Jimmy Superfly Snuka. I mean, we had talent right in front of us, so definitely no soup for the SWF. And to quote the famous soup guy in the old Seinfeld shows, at least in TBW, we saw some things. But gentlemen, as I always do here on Sportswire Radio, I actually come with gifts. I actually come bearing something that would actually showcase you guys to be in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. Especially now, as I always do, because I've done over 50 of these at this point, there is the option that I don't have to show something on the screen that recognizes you as Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. So if you have that option, if you want to take that option, I'm still happy to basically, do that for you. But for those that are listening and watching on Sportswire Radio, if you would like me to present to you guys something that shows you as official Sportswire Radio Hall of Famers, I would be more than happy to do that. But certainly, it's your call. You guys might be modest. You guys might be humble. You guys might certainly be, individuals that, certainly might want to be more soft-spoken, or maybe, certainly want to be, not put the spotlight on you guys. Maybe you don't want to stay trendy anymore. Maybe you don't want to Southern Bulldoze anybody. Maybe you don't want to put anybody with the black hole slam into Armageddon. So I give you the choice. Would you like me to present to you guys something on the air, or maybe hold off and just give it to you maybe off the air?
I want to see mine. I don't know if he wants to see his. I want to see mine.
It would be a shame for Tom to put all this work and effort in for it to not be shown to the world.
I still actually offer it to people because I think I did. I forget who it was, and somebody was like, "Oh, I don't know. Maybe I'm trying to think there was somebody I had on that said, I don't know if I want to see it. I'm almost certain there was somebody on my list that said, I don't know if I want to see it, but." That's here nor there because they don't matter. Because I forgot who it was. I've done so many of these at this point. But for those that are listening and watching on Sportswire Radio, I am about to present what officially showcases Alan Mikaels, Armageddon Shane Davidson, a Sportswire Radio Hall of Famer. So first, we've got Alan Mikaels, is number 54. He's your lucky day because you were second. Shane Davidson went first because, he beat you actually at the big show in October. So we had to put him 53rd. But you're number 54 with My John Hancock, which I actually took a few minutes to do. And today's date, my official title, our logo. And congratulations, Alan Mikaels. Hopefully this is something that you'll remember for a long time. And, when you have those days when you want to, people ask you and say, hey, was I a Hall of Famer? Was I in the wrestling business? You can say, well, you actually were because you're a Sportswire Radio Hall of Famer. So hopefully you would like that. And before I bring Shane's back on the screen.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I'm definitely going to print this out and I'm going to frame it in my room.
I love that because I think about almost half the Hall of Famers so far have actually said that. So I'm really happy to hear that. I want to say hello also to two of my Hall of Famers that are here with us. My Hall of Famer yesterday that was inducted, he is the host of the Wired Up podcast. He is the BWU champion of the world. He's the FWA champion, the Patreon Intercontinental champion. He is Mr. Ace Reed. He is all the way out there in Australia. And, Ace Reed, if you were looking for more guests to come onto the Wired Up podcast, add to the list Armageddon Shane Davidson and the trendsetter Alan Mikaels. Because these guys were two of the premier stars in Tennessee Backyard Wrestling. They were helping carrying the company. They were helping the company get more subs. They were helping the company get more views. And they were certainly guys that I like, and I'm sure you'd like talking to them because they've got great stories. They've got great backgrounds. They were out there trying to be in the world of pro wrestling. They dabbled a little bit for a brief period of time, and now they're here also colleagues of yours in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. So hopefully, Ace, you take a note and you can message these guys here. Actually, I've got some social medias if you want to reach out to them. Sad Boy is on Sad Boyville on Instagram and SoundCloud. Shane Pasquini, check him out. You can basically, if you message Sad Boy, he'll get you in touch with Shane. TSF Takes is also where you can get in touch with the guys on Instagram. So I promise you, Ace Reed, you will have a trendy of a time to speak with Alan Mikaels and Armageddon Shane Davidson. And also want to say hello to one of my buddies, who I'm still almost lost without him seeing that Carnage Hardcore Championship on his shoulders. The one and only Mr. Jam Dog himself, who's going to be at CCW Miners Mania 3. He is going to be wrestling for that World Championship against Prince Dagan, the underground title there in CCW. We're going to have coverage for Miners Mania the week of. So it's going to be a full week of shows. We're going to be back with CCW once again, getting you ready for Miners Mania. And I have a feeling Jam Dog is going to be here because, guys, Jam Dog is putting his career on the line. So if Jam Dog doesn't win the World Underground Championship, I mean, we may never see him in a wrestling ring. So he better win this match. And hopefully he better come on to Sportswire Radio before March 30th and talk about it. But also, he's a Hall of Famer like you guys right now. So say hello to another one of your fellow Hall of Famers here. Definitely a lot of Hall of Famers I know on the list. I know you're trying to get through in touch with everybody. But Ace wants to say I'll definitely keep Mikaels and Davidson in mind. And I'm sure that you'll also keep somebody else in mind in a few minutes who's going to join us and get ready to watch that match that, I actually watched it twice today. I'm so excited for him to come on. He's a guy that's also in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. But before I do that, want to bring up on the stage the 53rd member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, the one and only Armageddon, Shane Davidson.
Get it right. Get it right. 53rd. You're 54th. Get it right.
Boom! This guy stinks.
I have to say, and this is Dirty from IMF said this, and he was like saying he wants to be the 69th member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame for certain obvious reasons. We are a family station on Sportswire Radio. Certainly, I understand why he wanted to be number 69. I don't know. Maybe we should skip 69 because there could be, we're a family show on Sportswire. So I don't know. Maybe we should just skip the 69th member, maybe have a tie for 68th. I don't know, but certainly, I know you guys are at number 69, and we're going to make sure that Dirty is in 69 also in the Hall of Fame. But Shane, how does it feel to see the certificate? And by the way, I'm going to email you guys when we're off the air these physical certificates, and also I'm going to get your photos, and we're going to put it up in our Hall of Fame section, which I'm actually going to display in a few minutes live on Sportswire Radio. I'm actually going to be able to present the Hall of Fame section on Sportswire Radio. So you're going to actually get a chance to see what you're going to be a part of here. And also, Ace has a funny one here. You might as well skip 420. Well, I'm sure Shane and Alan, you guys wouldn't skip 420, though.
Oh, no.
No, not at all. Never.
Well, I should actually say that I can say this now because he's no longer alive. But when my dear old daddy was alive, he certainly enjoyed 420. He would always enjoy the 420s. I didn't realize every time he closed the door and I'd smell that thing, and then it wasn't until I was just about into high school and college, and I realized, it's 420. Now I know what he's actually using. So it's a different world now. 15 years ago, whatever it was kind of like, huh? But now it's it's all accepted. But Ace, definitely, if you want to indulge in 420, that's up to you. But I've got a ways to go to induct 420 members into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. I hope my voice holds up here. But gentlemen, I guess before I do a couple of things, would you like me to bring on a guest that I am sure you guys know? One guy you did like in the TBW locker room. And there was a few other guys you liked in the locker room, but this one man, who always comes on here. It's almost like it's his show at this point. He just did a show a little while ago. He is a living legend. He is here not only to congratulate you guys into the Hall of Fame alongside Jam Dog and certainly Ace Reed, but maybe, as I said, my favorite part of the night, as we do every Sunday night here, call some matches, and he's going to do that here with us shortly. May I bring this individual on here?
Absolutely.
Go ahead and bring him in.
All right, and just making sure it's not Atomic Titan. I'm just going to make sure it's not Atomic.
Thank God.
Why not, though? Well, I'm going to plead the fifth on that because I do like Atomic Titan, but I understand that not everybody may be into Mr. Titan. But
I got my own personal beef with Atomic Titan because he don't want to ever play Fortnite with me no more.
Well, he should play Fortnite. What's the matter?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying, man.
I'll tell you what. He's going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame Thursday night. I'll ask you about Fortnite. How about that? I will.
Make sure you write it down, Tom. Write it down. Write it down.
I don't need to write that down. I'm going to remember. I don't need to.
I will black hole slam you. Don't.
There's a lot of people actually that want to black hole slam me these days, so I'm going to actually make sure that I ask that on there. I will actually ask him. Atomic Titan, how are the Fortnite games going? And Shane Davidson wants to play Fortnite with you. I'm going to ask him that question.
So please do.
Okay, well, I certainly am going to do that. I'm hopefully he'll give an answer. But if we are on Sportswire Radio and you want to check before this individual comes on here, you can check us out anytime. We're on sportswireradio.org. We're going to have a podcast if you want to hear live music. If you want to hear that brand new single from Sad Boy, that guy that looks like Alan Mikaels, you can hear that anytime on Sportswire Radio and many other platforms out there. So make sure you check us out. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, and I'm going to be here tomorrow night right after Monday Night Raw. So if Raw is good or bad, we're going to get post reactions from it. And these guys, I think, are on Twitch tomorrow night. You guys are on Twitch tomorrow?
Yes.
Yeah.
What time are you guys on Twitch, and what are we playing tomorrow on Twitch so we can give a plug to those people out there that want to see you guys on Twitch?
I think what's tomorrow? Tomorrow's Monday. Tomorrow's a
Monday.
WWE day. Tomorrow's a WWE day.
Good. We're going to finish that story?
Yeah. Yeah, in video game form, we're going to finish it.
Well, we're going to certainly look forward to that. While I wait for this individual to come on the screen, I think this would actually be a good time for me to actually show what the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame looks like. So we're actually going to do that here, and I apologize to Ace Reed because I actually forgot to put Ace's host pick up here. His picture that's going to be on the screen will be on by tomorrow, but I've actually forgot to put Ace's up. But if you want to see the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame section, I'm actually going to do that right now. So if you never got a chance to see it and you want to check out sportswireradio.org, whether it's our shows, whether it's our internet radio station, you're going to get that chance to do it right now. So I'm going to give you that opportunity. So let's see here, and boom. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. This is sportswireradio.org. So this is our homepage. So check that out. Scrolling through here, I have plenty of questions. Why isn't Atomic Titan playing Fortnite with certainly Shane Davidson? But that's how you want to watch our internet radio station, your YouTube shows, our internet radio station. You want to click that listen live button. You have that opportunity to do that. You have some of our SoundCloud channels from our old episodes and such like that. Some of our YouTube shows from past, present, and future. Paige Palazzolo, head coach of the U.S. women's amputee soccer team. No, she's not taking applications to go out on a date. That was a funny joke. But let's see the Hall of Fame section here. Well, some people like her, but that's a different conversation for a different time. But here's the list of our Hall of Fame section that Shane Davidson and certainly Mr. Alan Mikaels is going to be a part of. You got Dean Allmark, the natural-born fighter R.P. Davis. Dean Allmark, of course, a living legend. Justin Parsley, one half of the XCW Tag Team Champions. Fletch, the owner of XCW, some guy that you guys used to work for, right? Going to move on from it. Say no comment? No comment there? Okay, no comment. Omen Black and Soldier GP, obviously from the IMF, the Foundation. Jackson Law. Jackson Law is the brand new EBW champion in XCW. Also, Chris Jones, the EBW leader. My buddy Randy Dillon. I think you've seen Randy on some of our shows here live. Chris Craven, the coach. Bentley currently holds 2 world titles in British independent wrestling. Leyland, my dear Leyland, of course, who's fought in Dambe from the African Warriors Fighting Championship out there in Nigeria. Third class James Barris, our first owner of Professional Wrestling's CCW in the UK. Of course, one of our beloved companies. DVG, 78,000 subs on YouTube. We got some of the guys from DBW, the It Factor Cyrus, the global champion. Aaron Jones' best friend, Chase Wakefield, the Bitcoin billionaire. Interesting choice, though, to wear an I Love Aaron photo in the Hall of Fame. Nicholas Crenson, who was just on James Taylor's show. Our buddy, the resident rock star Sean Joby, who used to be the WC Interstate Champion. My guy who played in the NCAA Final Four, Mr. Danny Burns. Danny Burns, of course, the only player ever from New York City in the CUNY Athletic Conference to have played in the Final Four. The guys who are the IMF Tag Team Champions. Yes, that's real blood. Dark Card and Matthew Forsaken. Ronnie Thatcher, the Gentleman Thug, of course, former 2-time Carnage Championship Wrestling Hardcore Champion there. C2K, who's apparently an 8-time Hall of Famer. I didn't realize there's like 8 Hall of Fames out there, but this guy apparently is an 8 Hall of Fames. I have no idea how, why, and when, but God bless. The infamous Montana, the EBW Pro World Champion. There he is, that guy you used to work with. That guy look familiar? James Taylor, the nemesis James Taylor. Speaking of which, he's here. And James Taylor, it wouldn't be a Sunday night without you. And I was actually showing the guys what they're going to be a part of in their new home in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. We were going through the section of all the different people that are in the Hall of Fame. We're all seeing now, James Taylor. So what a pleasant surprise.
Look at that, and congratulations, gentlemen. Congratulations.
Got
Thank
some
you, sir. Thank
a great group of people here. Jam Dog, of course, who was just with us in the comments, the Carnage, former hardcore champion, Brandon Castelli, one of my guys. This guy, I'm going to say no comment on, basically kind of no comment on him. Definitely saying no comment on him. Want to say hello, of course, to Trinity Parker, the XCW ring announcer. No longer, though, for now. Ace Christian, of course, the VTW Rumble winner. Skull is... That looks familiar, right, James Taylor? Skulls. I heard he's like a 3-time Hall of Famer. Austin James, and also here we've got our buddy Mr. Hillbilly Tilly, a part of our 6th class. So we'll obviously get a chance to see more of that. But James Taylor, before we get to some business, would you like to say anything to these gentlemen to maybe welcome them into the Hall of Fame or anything?
Welcome to the Sportzwire Hall of Fame. You've done great. Congratulations and welcome. At least you're appreciated somewhere, right? And that's a good thing. So I'm in the same boat as y'all, and it's all good. Everything works out. Everything happens for a reason. Never give up on your dreams. Never give up on anything. Period. And as long as you got a guy like Tom in your pocket, you know that he's going to support you. At least I hope so.
Oh, you guys always got my support. Listen, you guys always are on the team on Sportswire. You guys are legends. You guys are friends, and what you've done for this sport. You know, James, I said it when I had inducted Shane and Alan, that people would say, well, you know, what's the definition of a Hall of Famer? You know, why would these guys be in the Hall of Fame? I said, you know what? That's exactly why they're Hall of Famers, because these guys went out there and did it, as Hillbilly Tilly accurately said, true backyarders do it for the love of wrestling. And these guys did it for the love of wrestling. Doesn't matter if they only had a handful of matches or 500 matches. These guys went out there and put their life on the line for us, for the sport that we love. And these guys, and you, James Taylor, are the definition of all wrestling matters. And that's exactly why these guys are in the Hall of Fame. And as a matter of fact, I would put these guys in the Hall of Fame 10 times over if I was given the opportunity. And if I had a gun to my head, I would induct all 3 of you guys 10 times over and some.
Well, hopefully it won't come to that, but still.
Well, you know what? I'm sure there's somebody out there
that
doesn't like what I like to say.
Yeah, and I respect the hell out of you for it, and I appreciate it. I'm sure these guys do as well. They definitely could have went further where they were, but just like I could have. But like I said, and like everybody says, everything happens for a reason. Never say never, and something else could happen. That just means something better is coming along down the line, you know.
And speaking of people that I know are going to see real soon on Sportswire, and also hopefully I'd like to get him in the Hall of Fame real soon. The DBW Big Man of the Year, Big Tex. He says, "Good evening, gentlemen. I was just watching the WWE Legends episode on Scott Hall, and I can say, wow, that was a powerful episode. Yeah, I was watching some of that before we came on the air, and the story of Scott Hall, it's kind of a sad story in a way. It's kind of a sad story. If you grew up and were a fan of Razor Ramon and certainly Scott Hall in the NWO, and, you know, his life, unfortunately, was cut a little short, and his career in the wrestling business was kind of a what if. You know, unfortunately, like 3 guys here, what if so far. But Scott Hall, to me, was definitely the definition of a what if. Maybe he might have been the greatest wrestler to never win a world title, if I'm not mistaken. He might be. He's up there. He's definitely up in the discussion. I mean, Cody Rhodes is obviously the guy right now, the greatest to never win a world title. But, but certainly Scott Hall, I think, is probably the one that would come to most minds of wrestlers that never won a world title. Owen Hart obviously will be up there. God rest his soul, the British Bulldog. Mr. Perfect technically won the AWA world title, but those are some names that come to mind. But yeah, Scott Hall definitely status. Anything you guys want to say on Scott Hall real quick before we actually get to something fun? Anything you guys want to say on Scott Hall?
I was a fan of Razor Ramon. Looking back at the old tapes, the craziest thing of how I found out about Razor Ramon is during, I would say, the mid 90s, Jeff Hardy had his first singles match against Razor Ramon. It was a 16-year-old Jeff Hardy, and that's why I was like, this Razor Ramon dude's I kind of like his style. So I started looking up old, footage of WCW, and You know, his run with as Razor Ramon and his ladder match, his iconic ladder match with Alan Michaels.
Oh, it's
Alan Michaels, Shawn Michaels. Whoa.
Well, Alan, you are our Shawn Michaels on Sportswire.
I wasn't in a ladder match, but
Yes, you were certainly in that promotion. But listen, I mean, I think in a lot of ways that ladder match at WrestleMania 10 was really the grandfather for what we saw with the Hardys, Edge and Christian, and the Dudleys, and everybody now we see all these ladder matches, and it's really because of Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon. Although if you hear Bret Hart, apparently Bret Hart says he was the one that came up with the ladder match. Apparently, he said this years ago. He said it was his idea, and they stole it from him. Bret Hart's one of these guys that as much as I love Bret, everything's about Bret, but there's no question that Razor Ramon, what was so impressive about him, was Scott Hall big text, was that he was also so tall. He was actually almost like 6'8". He was really like a big guy. The style that he had, I mean, he was really big and he was a great worker in addition to being a great, promo guy and had so much charisma. But yeah, definitely, really cut short in his life, but he had so much machismo, the Scarface and, watching the thing tonight. But anything for you, James Taylor, you want to say on Scott Hall before I move on to the fun part of the show?
One of the founding fathers of the NWO. I mean, of course, we could talk about Razor Ramon all day in the WWF, but prior to that, it's like he reinvented himself when they became the Outsiders, teaming up with Diesel or Kevin Nash, and they created one of the most influential factions of all time. And as much of a top heel and bad guy or guy that he was, period, in the wrestling world, it's so surprising to me that a Hall of Famer like that never won a world championship.
No, I think that's the thing that's to me, and he never was quite a main eventer, as crazy as that sounds. He had 2 title shots in his career. He had the one Royal Rumble 93, then he had Uncensored 98 against Sting. Bret Hart was the champion in 93. In 98, he won the World War 60-man over the top. He won that in WCW. They got the shot, and that was it. He never had another title shot in his career. Never won a world title. Other than that, one of those guys, now everybody wins a world title in wrestling. Everybody wins it. But in those days, he was one of the guys that was always, to me, the trivia question. Him, the British Bulldog would be another one. Owen Hart. Those were always the guys to me that were like, technically Ted DiBiase would be another one. Although, depending on who you believe, Ted DiBiase was a world champion. But, those are the guys that are right up there and never held a world title. And unfortunately, he didn't win one, but he wasn't a guy that needed it. Maybe that's just now everybody needs to have a world title. Certainly Cody Rhodes is the guy right now that we're all waiting for to win the title, but Scott Hall might be the greatest one. Also, Scott Hall is actually also influential because he and Kevin Nash, I think, were the first wrestlers to get guaranteed contracts.
Yep, definitely.
Which is what you guys should have gotten in Tennessee, right? In Lafayette, you guys should have got those guaranteed contracts.
They're not going to do. They don't want to do it, but oh well. So I've only got a little bit of time.
All right, so we'll get.
So I was going to say, if y'all wanted to call a match still, I can.
We're gonna get to it right now. We're gonna go shotgun because I'm glad you asked. So since we've only got a little bit of time with the Nemesis James Taylor and we've got Alan Michaels and Armageddon Shane Davidson here, I'm gonna actually pull it up right here for you. So for those that are listening and watching on Sportswire Radio, give me about 20 or so seconds, and I'm gonna actually pull it up for Tennessee Backyard Wrestling, that famous All Hallows Mania show between certainly the trendsetter Alan Michaels and Armageddon Shane Davidson. So we're going to pull it up here right now. I'm going to share the screen. I actually have it here, right here, All Hallows Mania 3. So hang on tight. I'm going to make this on full screen. Actually, I'm going to exit full screen because I didn't put the share the screen button. So hang on there first. I forgot to do that. I'm trigger happy, but I realize in the interest of time. So let's go like this. Okay, and now we're gonna go fast forward a bit. Boom, 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 boom.
Boom.
Yep, I remember where it was. Okay, so let's go.
I don't remember.
I have it here. I watched it twice today, so I got it here right in front of me. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna watch the promo first from the trendsetter Alan Michaels leading up to All Hallows Mania 3. It was the opening match, and these guys very well stole the show because, James Taylor wasn't on it. So let's watch the promo and get you ready for match time between Davidson and Michaels. Stand by on Sportswire Radio, where all wrestling matters.
See some problems. But so with that being said, I mean, I think tonight you deserve a chance to go after that person, don't you?
I believe so.
I believe you deserve a chance to go after Mr. Armageddon himself, Mr. Shane Davidson. Now, since we want to catch people off guard and do it, I think it'd be best to do it since it's All Hallows Mania. Let's do it in a way I call a street fight.
Street fight. See, it doesn't matter if it's a street fight, bar fight, regular fight. I'm gonna whip Shane Davidson's ass from the time that he enters that curtain until the time he leaves it. Let's go ahead and get this ball on the roll.
I mean, I agree. Just one more small thing. I think we have to ante it up a little bit since he wants to go on your turf. You go on his turf in an Armageddon street fight.
Armageddon street fight? Sounds great to me.
Your match is next.
Great.
Well, apparently this one-on-one match now, Scott.
Alan Mikaels, first of all, before we get to the match, what were you thinking? Why did you agree on Shane Davidson's terms?
Because he wanted to come on my show. He wants to interrupt my show. I'm going to enter his domain and whip his ass in his domain.
I don't know. I mean, but why on his terms, though? I mean, that sounds like a bad deal.
Nah, it's never a bad deal. Because the trendsetters will come out on top one way or another.
I would have contradicted him.
Well, you know what? You have any thoughts here, Shane Davidson, before we get ready for match time and I go on the call?
Let's just watch the outcome.
I would have contradicted Beast right there. He was like, this is all Hell's Mania. This is a street fight. Okay, it's a street fight. Then he goes, you know what? Let's do one better. It's an Armageddon street fight. I would have been like, hold on. What in the hell is an Armageddon street fight? Is it the same thing or is it not? You dumb bastard.
Well, you know what? We're going to certainly leave that out because we want to get right to it. So it's match time here on Sportswire Radio. So let's go.
Armageddon street fight. And bruised, and we're going down the ringside here with this Armageddon-style street fight between Armageddon.
As we're getting ready here, we're going to see both men come out. And for those that are listening and watching on Sportswire Radio, it's Sunday night, so it means it's time for us to be on the call. And joining me on the call is the legendary Nemesis James Taylor. And there he is, the trendsetter, Alan Mikaels, who, again, to me, I don't know if this is a staying trendy type of idea, but certainly if I'm Alan Mikaels, I know you're trying to prove a point, but I don't know if this was the most wise idea of his. I mean, certainly shaking hands with Ref Carter. I mean, sportsmanship is certainly always good, and we certainly love people to practice it, but I'm not quite sure what the trendsetter, Alan Mikaels, is giving sportsmanship to everybody. We are waiting for the man that used to be the Southern Bulldozer, but he has been on certainly an impressive run, and you see that smoke coming out, so we are waiting for him. He is none other than one of the up-and-coming big men in this sport. He is Armageddon Shane Davidson. We can see that he's about to come out, and we're about to see him, and we're waiting, and I think certainly moving. Here he comes, boy, certainly in the Halloween spirit. He ain't trick-or-treating. Armageddon Shane Davidson is ready. He's probably, wait a minute, we're going right to it. I mean, certainly Alan Mikaels, the trendsetter, is not even waiting. He's had enough. This is a feud that he's just basically said, you know what, I'm going to take it to Armageddon Shane Davidson. I mean, James Taylor, you're a veteran. Is that the right move here for Alan Mikaels to kind of take the offense early to a big man like Armageddon Shane Davidson?
I mean, if you can get to that redwood and start working the base and getting it down, then yeah, that's exactly what I do.
And that kick, that boot had to hurt. Look at those punches, those elbow punches. I mean, they gotta hurt. Shane Davidson's punches, let me tell you something. Those aren't the type of punches you see from, let's say, Ric Flair on AEW Dynamite to end the show 2 weeks ago. Those punches definitely hurt. And Shane Davidson is a man on a mission. He wants to prove a point. And certainly he's going now for the head. Look at, oh boy, that boot, that's going to hurt there. Alan Mikaels ain't going to be staying trendy with that type of shot to the head. I mean, here he goes again. Shane Davidson, boom! This is why he's an up-and-coming big man. And, you know, you have to wonder, was that the right move to start offensively the way Alan Mikaels, the trendsetter, did? Because now Shane Davidson's had enough, and he's not going easy on Alan Mikaels. And look at those. Certainly maybe little elbow punches there early on that kind of put him down, and now Shane Davidson. He's got him right where he wants him. And is he going to try to bite him? He's grabbing him by the hair. He might as well get a scissor and cut it at this point. But he just throws Alan Mikaels like a sack of potatoes there, certainly. And he does look like a sack of potatoes compared to Shane Davidson. Alan Mikaels is a big man, by the way. Alan Mikaels he's no little short guy. He's no Chase Wakefield. He's no Atomic Titan. He's no Jacob Young even. I mean, Alan Mikaels is a big man. And, Shane Davidson's going to have his way with him. He's got a chain there. And that chain, I think he's motioning for it. And he's almost like a dog on the chain. He's almost walking the dog there. I mean, James Taylor, Shane Davidson is a man that I would want no part of right now in this matchup.
I could agree right now. It looks like Alan Mikaels bit off more than he can chew.
Oh, this chair shot
He's
here.
got the steel chair now. He's about to crack that back.
Oh, chair shot. And he just literally threw the chair at the back of Alan Mikaels. And Shane Davidson's a man that's got to be pushing 300 pounds. And this is a man that, when he throws a chair, it's not like when Skulls throws a chair or Silverwolf throws a chair or C2K throws a chair. This is a legitimate big man. We love those guys. No knock at them, but this is a legitimate big man here. Look at what he is doing to Alan Mikaels. Those Hello Kitty looking shorts there, or those, anime looking shorts. Certainly he's going to need some anime like action. Maybe a few Dragon Ball Z throws or two are going to maybe help him get back in this match. But now we see Alan Mikaels back on his feet and he's throwing some punches, and boom, he just throws him in those tires. Boy, those abandoned tires there. Alan Mikaels certainly making the use of those tires to get himself right back in this match, and sort of good move here by the staying trendy Alan Mikaels here. He's got Shane Davidson here. But what are you doing here, Alan Mikaels? You got to go right back on. Use those tires. Stop throwing them at Shane Davidson. You've got a nice little ability to come back in this match, and you've just let Shane Davidson get back on his feet. You can see the All's Hollow Menu 3 replay. Look at that replay there. Oh my God. That is certainly not a chair shot that you see thrown by Craven Rage or certainly Loose Cannon. That is a chair shot that's going to hurt. And ladies and gentlemen, Alan Mikaels, though, is back on his feet. And, oh, my God, he just splashed him. He splashed him on the tires. And Shane Davidson's clutching his arm there. You have to wonder, is this the first time Shane Davidson has felt pain and suffering like this? From Armageddon Shane Davidson's body to Alan Mikaels. And you're certainly seeing Alan Mikaels. And Alan Mikaels is going up. He's going up on top. Another splash. There's a little mini elbow drop there. And boy, Shane Davidson, Alan Mikaels, you've got to drag him back into the ring and try to get a count here, because you've got a big man like this down. You cannot let him get right back up. As we see now, he goes and throws Shane Davidson like a sack of potatoes that he might look at right now. But Davidson is down. He is out, and now we go for a count, but he is not going to get him here. Way too long on this, but he gets a 2.5 there. And what do you think here, James Taylor, for Alan Mikaels to continue this momentum? What does he need to do?
He needs to stay on it. He don't need to be letting up. You knocked the Redwood down. You need to just stay on his ass. He took them chair shots to the back, though, so he's looking like he's a little bit hurt.
Now we see Mikaels kind of clutching his head there a little bit, and Shane Davidson's back up, and he is certainly like a typical bad guy in a movie, whether it's Jason, Freddy, and look at that kick there. Ooh. That's a kick we haven't seen sans Kevin Nash or somebody like that. Boy, Shane Davidson's waiting. Alan Mikaels, just stay down. Stay down as long as you can. And is Alan Mikaels look like he is down? He's dazed and confused. You have to check if you got a concussion. Is there concussion protocols here from the Tennessee Athletic Commission? And boy, and another big boot. And Shane Davidson right now is just possessed. 1, 2, and that's got to be about a 2 1/3, I would say there. Ref Carter holding up the 2 sign there, and Shane Davidson goes back to the offense here. Now he gets him kind of an inverted submission hold here, and almost like an arm lock. Yeah, an arm submission hold there, and certainly working the arms smart there, because a guy like Alan Mikaels is going to try to use his arms as much as possible. The elbow drop, that splash, if he can take away the arms from him. But wait a minute, smart move here. You can tell some pro wrestling training was done here by Alan Mikaels, because he reverses that into almost a roll up there. And you see the All's Hollow Menu replay. And boy, I tell you what, we haven't seen that by anybody in TBW lately. Certainly Manny Cobra hasn't done one of those. I can tell you that much. There is no Manny Cobra elbow drops or special. We love Manny Cobra, though, but certainly that's not Manny Cobra's repertoire there. But Obviously, if you're here on Sportswire Radio, hit that sub button for us. We're on Sportswire Radio. If you have a match you want me to call, I'll do it for you anytime, anywhere. And we are waiting for Shane Davidson and Alan Mikaels to continue. And it looks like Shane Davidson is having his way now with Alan Mikaels. He can't stay trendy here too much. He's trying to stay alive, to quote John Travolta. And wait a minute. Is he going for it? Yeah. Oh, my God. That chair shot is going to hurt, and Alan Mikaels still might be feeling that up until his induction into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. And Shane Davidson's got that chain once again, and boy, that chain, you know what, with Shane Davidson using that chain, I got to tell you something. That ain't going to be Manny Cobra using that chain. That ain't going to be chain hurt. And wait a minute. Boom! What? You know, that was, I think it backfired on Alan Mikaels. I don't think that was the right move there because Shane Davidson just took that chain and punched it right into the head through the chair of Alan Mikaels. James Taylor, was that a wise move by Alan Mikaels?
It might have been. It might have. He's got to do whatever he can to take this big man down. But
I don't know how anybody could take this big man down. I mean, certainly Jay Wild wouldn't be able to, and I don't even know if Commissioner Beast could, because this is a big man that, you know what, there's very few guys that can touch him right now. Oh, my God, that's got to hurt. You know, you have to wonder here, what is the neck condition of Alan Mikaels after suffering that chair shot to the neck? Because that is going to hurt. Kids, don't try this at home. Only the pros like Alan Mikaels and Shane Davidson, because these guys are actually trained pro wrestlers, I want to remind people. And what are you doing? Is he biting? Wait, I mean, certainly somebody is channeling Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. Jake Paul, that's what you could be in for coming up in Texas in July. But Shane Davidson almost having a snack, a mid-match snack, when it comes to the forehead of Alan Mikaels. I mean, Alan Mikaels might have some fruit roll-ups, what's going to look like his head now, because I think he's going to be gushing here from blood very shortly here, especially after we saw that. But kind of some chair shots to the knees there. Maybe smart move by Alan Mikaels. Try to basically wear down the knees. If you take the knees down of a big man, maybe that can help you. But we do see that color. We see a little bit of color, and that is not Crayola markers that's from, or Crayola crayons. That is certainly blood. And that's going to hurt. And Alan Mikaels, his hair is down, and he is now, I mean, oh boy, what is it? It could be maybe it's a running drop kick into the chair, but he's going for something. That's what he did, kind of a running knee into the chair, into the head of Shane Davidson. And Shane Davidson now only is seeing stars right now. No, he's not seeing the stars of Loose Cannon's most recent 5-star match, or Craven Rage's 7-star match, or certainly the most recent Zack Attack YouTube channel podcast, or C2K's 9th induction into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. We love all those guys, but Shane Davidson is seeing a different kind of stars. He is seeing stars from what Alan Mikaels just delivered to him. Wait a minute, he is bleeding. Somebody bring out the Tennessee Athletic Commission, because Shane Davidson right now is definitely bleeding, and I promise you it's not markers. And now look at that blood here. Now both men have got color to their heads, and now he looks like he's got almost a little mini sleeper here. And you have to wonder, Ref Carter, get that count going, because his arms are down. Come on, count. What are you waiting for? 1, 2. Slow count there from Ref Carter. Ref Carter had to count very slow there. Gave him time. Was that a slow count, you think, James Taylor, from Ref Carter? Because I felt like that should have been at least maybe match over, because it was a very long count there.
Oh, he was giving them time. He wanted to make sure.
So much for that sportsmanship there from Alan Mikaels. But Shane Davidson is up. He is back on his feet. What does it take to get this man down in Armageddon Shane Davidson? That's the question I think I want to ask the audience out there. What does it take to keep a man like Armageddon Shane Davidson? Now, wait a minute. He's got him. Choke slam. He is down, and Alan Mikaels could very well be out. 1, 2. Ooh, almost had him there, James Taylor. Almost had him.
Should have laid on him more instead of doing the lazy way. I would have did a good lateral press, put all my weight on top of him.
And maybe it's also, James Taylor, these two big men have put themselves through hell, and that these men are starting to feel what they've put their bodies through. We have now been seeing this for more than 10 minutes so far. These are big guys. These are not guys that, can do 40-minute matches the way that we just seen other companies do. These are big men, and, it takes a lot. Wait a minute. Alan Mikaels just pushes Shane Davidson into Ref Carter, and this one could be over here. Boom! Boom, a power bomb. It's over. It's over. 1, 2, 3,
Oh, Alan Michaels had this match won.
5,
Like
6, 7. I mean, you could count to 20. And Armageddon Shane Davidson is down like Armageddon. He is down almost like when NASA lifts off one of those spaceships going in, because once we get to countdown, it's over. But why is Alan Michaels talking to Ref Carter? You've given Shane Davidson time. And wait a minute! Black hole slam! That's it! That's it! Nobody kicks out of that. 1, 2, 3. And Shane Davidson capitalizes on the mistake of a trendsetter, Alan Michaels. Alan Michaels, for whatever reason, decided to talk to Ref Carter, and that gave enough time for Armageddon Shane Davidson to get back up on his feet, black hole slam, and that was all she wrote. All Hallows Mania 3. What an opener to start. This was definitely one we're going to remember for a long time. Two giants that certainly showcased that they can do a lot in this sport. They definitely show that they're big men that we'd like to see more of. But on this night, on this occasion, Armageddon Shane Davidson gets the job done. If I'm Ref Carter, stay very far away from Armageddon Shane Davidson. He says here, 1 down. And he says more to go. But we'll never know what that was. James Taylor, what was your impressions on this match before we bring the guys in?
Very physical for sure. Back and forth action. I think Alan Michaels tried too hard to go ahead and jump the gun, but nonetheless, I mean, you got to talk about one impressive thing was that damn pop-up powerbomb on that big 6-foot.
That powerbomb, you know what? That was something. That was something else, and we'll take this off the screen. And definitely impressive match. And gentlemen, obviously great match. Well done. First of all, let's go to Alan Michaels first before we talk with the victorious winner. I know Mr. Taylor's only got a limited amount of time, so we'll certainly keep it short to the point for him. But Alan Michaels, I mean, talk about why you came up short, and I think there's a couple of reasons why. But tell us after watching that match, how do you feel?
I let the rage building up inside tip my emotions into picking the Armageddon street fight and accepting the Armageddon street fight and starting off hot and heavy. I think a couple things went against me in that match. The chair shot that failed. I should have really put that sleeper in just a little bit deeper. Maybe I should have waited for Ref Carter to made sure that he was up before I went for the pin.
Well, you also went to Ref Carter, and you were talking with him, and also when you splashed and elbow dropped Shane Davidson, you kind of were letting Shane Davidson come back up. You should have immediately dragged him back into the ring and started to work on him further. You gave Shane Davidson a lot of time. For a big man like this, I mean, you let him hang around in this match.
I should have had a little bit more urgency, but when you take 2 steel chair shots to the back and you get choked out a little bit, you get a little winded. You
took some color. How about that chair shot to the neck also, where he was basically putting that chair deep into the neck? I mean, kids, don't try this at home.
No, I mean, it definitely knocked the wind out of me, and I honestly couldn't breathe there for a second. But, I bounced back, hit him with the trendy trigger,
You had him. I tell you what, you had him, but you didn't have him. And Shane Davidson, congratulations on the victory. I know we've talked about this match in the past, but after watching it again, talk about the victory and just how it was able to happen and get this big win.
Man, it was just a lot of patience and trying to overcome what is more powerful than what Alan Michaels thought he was. You see, time and time again, I told Alan Michaels, I will beat you. And I even stated it on Staying Trendy.
That you did, but I still go back to, before I bring Mr. Taylor back, because I know he's got to run shortly, but I want to say this. I think it was poor judgment from Alan Michaels to want an Armageddon-type match. I think it was poor judgment.
Definitely. You definitely bit off more than what you can chew.
Technically, if Ref Carter wasn't down.
And you know what? Ref Carter was down, but you spent too much time trying to talk to Ref Carter, and the sportsmanship backfired with you and Ref Carter.
It did. I was trying to have him in my back pocket, but he wasn't taking any bribes that day.
You tried to play politics with Ref Carter. You know that game don't work.
Hey, I just wanted to call it straight down the middle, and obviously you didn't. It was more of a 60.
What are you talking about? We just watched. It was a clean victory.
It was 60. Clean victory, my ass.
It was a clean victory. You watched what happened.
You must be blind then.
I'll tell you what, we're going to watch more matches of you guys in TBW because we're not done. Well, I mean, obviously tonight we're done, but in future shows on Sportswire, we'll watch more of you guys in TBW. But, on this night, though, Alan Mikaels, you didn't stay trendy.
Hey, if it was a last man standing, I would have won. That's all I'm saying.
James Taylor, I know you've obviously got to run, so I want to give you the opportunity to say anything else you want. Anything you want to say about the match? Obviously, I know that we're going to definitely see you next Sunday, and maybe we'll call another match with these guys. I don't know who else. I mean, because Anthony's here on the 24th, so you guys are welcome to see Anthony in the Hall of Fame. Anthony's going to be joining you guys in the Hall of Fame, Anthony Steele, so maybe we can have a big celebration for Anthony. Anthony's promising something big, by the way, but we'll have to see. On that note, we'll let Anthony certainly talk about that when he's here. But James Taylor, of course, it is your show, as I always like to think when you're here. But anything you want to say to the guys? Any closing thoughts before we move on?
Was that y'all's last match before you left?
No,
I had.
You had two more, right?
It was Gold Rush.
Yeah,
you had one more match before season finale. Remember, season finale kept being delayed because of the weather, if I recall correctly. Did you have one more match before the season finale?
Yeah, it was a Gold Rush. I faced Fat Asian, and then we also wrestled at Resi.
You lost by disqualification or some because of the interview. It was stupid. That was stupid.
Well, I didn't want to eat the pin or the submission, so I was like, "Well, fucking have Shane come in there and just hit me, and we'll just call it right there."
Well, I didn't like the finish. I'm gonna say it live on Sportswire. Shoot me. Shoot me. If somebody wants to say it from the locker room, I thought that Alan should have won the match. There, I said it.
Well,
I still think we should have both went to the.
You want my opinion? You want my opinion? I think that you guys both should have been in the finals or the semifinals of the tournament. There, I said it. One of you guys should have at least been there because it was the hot storyline. It was the storyline that had momentum. There was a curiosity factor. You guys were being pushed. But alas, that's wrestling. That's the world. Maybe on Sportswire, we'll finish it. Hopefully, maybe we'll have a live stream of the match somehow, some way. But that's kind of what we saw. We'll obviously maybe go down memory lane and see a few more your matches in TBW. I'll call them. But you want to say anything else, James? I know you do have to run.
Well, I mean, it was a shame that I didn't get a chance to work with these guys. I was kind of looking forward to it, and then everything happens for a reason, I guess. But that's for another day. I'm tired of sounding like I'm crying and whining and bitching about things, but I just, it's just frustration, Tom.
I know, because you know what? You know why it is? Because we want to see you all out there in the ring. Regardless of politics, regardless of who got feelings, we just want to see, as a wrestling fan and as somebody that loves this sport and, considers all of you guys friends, even some of the guys that you may have difference of opinions with, they're friends of ours here too on Sportswire. And I want to see everybody have a great match and go out and continue to do things that they want to do. Because like Hillbilly Tilly said, it's all for the love of wrestling. And that's really what it's about. And I think that that's the disappointment so far is that, we are where we are. And I just hope that as a wrestling fan, we get to see you guys doing what you love best. And I want to say hello before you go, James, to the man you interviewed earlier tonight, Nicholas Crenson. The Dusty finish is overplayed. In my opinion, if you cannot get over even in losing clean, you're doing it wrong. But in the match that I think Alan's talking about, Alan was getting over, and Alan probably should have beat Fat Asian. There, I said it. He should have beat him. What can I say? But I love Fat Asian. He's great too, and he's been a former world champion. But the hot storyline, at least for me, now again, I'm just playing fantasy booker. Again, it's everybody's entitled to their opinion. Doesn't mean that I'm right. Doesn't mean that I'm wrong or anybody else is wrong. I just would have liked to have seen Alan go further, but it didn't happen. And you know what? Maybe we'll see it here on Sportswire. Anything else you want to say, James, before I let you go?
No, it was always a pleasure. Appreciate you letting me come on, guys. Congratulations on becoming Hall of Famers, and we'll see you down the road.
All right, that was
absolutely.
the legendary James Taylor. Follow him, Taylor, _Taylor on Instagram and TikTok, and there he goes. And so I guess, would you like to do more of this on Sportswire? Would you like me to call more of your matches? Now, there isn't that many out there, but I'd be happy to call them, for next week.
Oh,
Absolutely.
for sure. I'm down.
Do you reflect a little bit now in watching it? And by the way, what did you think of me calling the match? By the way, how'd you like it?
Oh, it was great. It was great. Definitely pointed out some things that a lot of people missed, But looking back on it, man, because, even after we finished our training, we still, after TBW, we still went back and did even more training
I remember we were speaking about that off the air.
Just to really, to sell it home, man. And looking back at that match, I know Shane, we've talked about this match fucking million times already, but
we've talked about it here on Sportswire, months ago. I mean,
yeah, there was so much more we could have done, but
well, just about the actual wrestling and selling in the match. I mean, there's some things that we learned from a certain person at a certain independent wrestling organization that definitely could have worked on. But the things that you had those type of matches, I still think it's a good match. I still love the match.
Oh, this match was good. I enjoyed the match. This was not, this was a match that I enjoyed watching. There was some good action. There was some really fun spots. There was some spots that said, kids, don't try this at home. You guys had some color. You guys had some creative finishes there. I think with the ref being down, you knocking Shane into the ref, where you did this, you kind of inverted sit-down powerbomb. You said the trendy trigger, and, you did some stuff. You had the arm lock. You had the submission hold. I mean, how about when Shane had you in a submission hold, you reversed it into a roll-up. That was really clever. I thought that was really clever. There was some great spots in the match. I enjoyed the match, to be honest. I would say I enjoyed it before you guys came on 5 months ago, because this match was 5 months ago. So, I mean, I watched it then. I watched it when you guys came on to Sportswire afterwards, and I called it live, and I enjoyed it each time.
I appreciate that. I really do. We missed out on a couple of key spots, like just a little behind the scenes. I had set a spot earlier in the night that I wanted to do, but told that it was probably not safe to do. But then the match right after, it had that spot in there, and it kind of frustrated me because, I take time into really calling my matches and to really setting up these really cool spots, and, to not be able to execute that. And there's
watching it be executed by somebody else, it pissed both of us off.
I can understand that, because if you were told to do something and you want to do something and you couldn't, but then somebody else did, I would understand that. I can respect that.
I think that spot right there really would have put the cherry on top of the entire match, in my personal opinion. Because just to tell you the spot, there was a stack of
the tires,
what's it called, pallet things, like wooden pallets. And my plan was to climb on top of it. Instead of doing those 2 running splashes, I was going to climb on top of the pallets and jump off onto Shane, onto the tires from the pallets.
Oh, we didn't see, because you did the splash, and you did kind of like that elbow drop splash right afterwards, Yeah,
and the original was just going to be a splash from it was a pretty decent little height, too. I mean, it would have been... I mean, it's a routine spot. I mean, Shane knows how to protect himself. And...
in fact, I saw the tire spot used at season finale by somebody you may have a different opinion of that is going into the Hall of Fame Thursday. That's your clue.
Well, there's no hate, sort of. Like, I'm not... I was upset in the moment, not upset anymore. Things happen. I understand that.
It was a good spot. I think what you would have liked to have done differently on the 2 spots.
I mean, if it was up to me, I would have did a swanton bomb off the hose, but that's...
Wow, I mean, I don't know if that... Let me ask you this. I know what the answer is, but I'll ask it to you anyway. Were you guys able to rehearse that match at all before you did it?
Nope.
No.
Figured that.
Well, certain things, like we were able to rehearse the pop-up power bomb, because that is a big spot, especially in the...
That was a huge spot. And for you to do that was like, I gotta say, you got, he made you look small. You're a big guy, Alan, but like, you did what you did to Shane in that spot. I mean, that was really good.
I mean, I give all the props to Shane, honestly. I mean, he's the one. I mean, yeah, I'm giving him a little boost up there, but for a 6'6" guy at his size and his weight to be jumping up to the point where I can get him on my shoulders, I mean, that just shows how athletic Shane actually really is, and how much of a
I just thought Shane had such. Before I say hello to somebody in a second, I thought you just had such raw talent in the ring, and I just thought you could be a world champion.
Well, give me a couple years. Let me settle into being a father and let me.
No, I know that, but I meant that in the company that you work for.
Like I said, give me 2 years. Let me repair some bridges, and you never know. You might see the story can be complete. You never know.
You know what? But speaking of stories that I can't wait to be completed on Friday, our buddy Scooby Stoney here. And Scooby, boy, I cannot wait for Friday. And Scooby, I was talking to the guys on the air, and two guys that look like these guys, and we were saying that the Friday on YouTube and Twitter shows were like the most viewed regular shows on Sportswire Radio in like 7 months. So I mean, people were really excited about the TSF Takes crew on Sportswire Radio. I mean, it was like people were just like really fired up for you guys. So Scooby, by the way, has got a YouTube video up where he's talking about some of his favorite books that he's into. Really great. I mean, Scooby's a great talker. You guys got some great people in your group. I can't wait for Big T on Friday. I just can't wait for the boys. I am so excited for you guys to be on. I haven't been this excited for a Friday in like for a regular sports show in months. That's how pumped up I am for you guys joining us. And big shout out to Scooby.
I mean, it's great to be on Fridays and to talk about sports with my guys. I mean, it's a dream come true. But just a little bit kind of off topic, but same on topic. This goes out to all the TBW guys. There's no bad blood there. I never once on there has said anything bad about y'all.
No, you guys have always been. We love Anthony. But, Anthony, obviously, whether you like Anthony or not, has opinions. You guys have always, at least from my vantage point, always been very classy here. You guys have definitely stayed trendy.
Oh, I'm going to be real. I've definitely said some things behind closed doors.
Yeah, but on here, I understand that, but here on Sportswire, I've always felt, I don't know what you've said off the air, but from what I've seen on the air, you guys have always been classy.
I try to keep it that way because, there's no reason to hold grudges, There's no reason to hold grudges or to really have any animosity towards somebody. Things happen the way they did. You live and you grow from them.
That's it.
When things could have been handled differently, for sure. Were there emotions in the time span that it happened, for sure. But when you're doing something you're really passionate about, people are gonna have really strong opinions, and I wouldn't want it any other way. I mean, you want to.
I let my professionalism get in the way of what I do. That's my. Yeah.
But we're human beings, right? I mean, we're human beings. I've said plenty of things on Sportswire that I regret. I mean, I've worked in the world of politics. There's plenty of things that, I'm sure I've done that somebody didn't like. I mean, I've done it all the time, when I've worked on campaigns. Even now, there's things that people don't like, things I say. I mean, I'm on Sportswire every night. People have messaged me, I didn't like what you said. I've actually had people that say, I don't, it's just, we're human beings, You guys, I think at the end of the day, are human beings. And I think that, I don't know what the future holds. You obviously have to focus on being a father. A guy that looks like you is trying to have the rap career back. We've got TSF Takes. I mean, so at the end of the day, if the door is open, would love to see you guys back there. But if not, I think you guys will certainly, be remembered on Sportswire Radio for a long time to come. I mean, look, at the end of the day, it is what it is. You can't dwell on the past. You can only learn from it and move on. That's the way I look at things.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, even if the bridge is not crossable, even at any point, the trendsetter Al Michaels still has a lot left to give for the wrestling, industry as a whole. And, I'm always itching to get back in the ring and, just to do what I enjoy doing.
And you guys were good at it. That's the thing. And that's why I inducted you into the Hall of Fame, because I really felt in that short amount of time, you guys were good. There was moments. It almost reminds me of in baseball, there was a pitcher several years ago now, who died with the Miami Marlins, and he was on his way to being, a Cy Young Award winner, and he was just, a great pitcher, and and also Justin Parsley. Before I come back, says nobody here looks like anything like Festus, which I want to actually comment on this. Festus Davis was supposed to be our first referee inducted into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, and unfortunately, literally, like 5 minutes before we were about to go on air, canceled. He said he had to cancel. I mean, happy birthday, but it was kind of a bummer because we were supposed to induct our first referee into the Hall of Fame, but Festus said he had a family emergency, Justin, and that's why he never came on the air. And I actually ran home early tonight to have him come on the show, and that's what happens. But we'll hope to get Festus back on. I don't have an idea when, but yeah, Justin, that's kind of the bummer. I'm a little bummed about that. But Scoopy says, yeah, you guys are Hall of Famers. I just think at the end of the day, from what I saw, you guys are still Hall of Famers.
And I do appreciate that. There's still it's a long road ahead. I don't think I've ever said my age, but I'm young. 23 years old. I still got.
I know your age. You actually did mention it once on the Sportswire. You did.
Yes, I still got a lot left in the tank.
And I want to fill in Justin actually. So Justin, actually we've just inducted into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame from Tennessee. Well, they were from Tennessee Backyard Wrestling. Armageddon Shane Davidson, and then we inducted the trendsetter Alan Mikaels, and then Justin, we actually watched their match that they had at All Hallows Mania 3, and Justin, next time you come on to Sportswire Radio, when you get inducted for the second time, along with Rob Slater, your tag team partner, I think we got to watch one of your matches on Sportswire Radio, and I'm going to be on the call. So, Justin, I hope that maybe that'll cheer you up a little bit. But, yeah, definitely bummed about Festus. It was literally like 5 minutes before we went on the air. I got to go. I can't do it. It happens. But, we had a lot of fun. I was on commentary again, Justin. We called Alan Mikaels and Shane Davidson's match. They opened up All Hallows Mania 3. It was a great match. We talked about it. We had James Taylor on the commentary for it. And, we're going to probably do more of it. And he also says congratulations. And Justin, by the way, is our third member of the Hall of Fame. He was the first person from XCW to go in. And he's now a colleague of yours. A lot of people to get to know, And by the way, before we move on to closing thoughts, I'm going to actually bring it right back up on the screen, the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. So if those who want to see who's actually in the Hall of Fame one more time, like Justin Parsley, you want to see who's in our Hall of Fame, you actually now have the chance to get a chance to and kind of see who your colleagues are. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do that here. So, as you can see, this is our website, Sportswire Radio. If you want to listen live to any of our shows, we're actually live right now. See that listen live button. If you want to watch us, you can do that on YouTube right through there. If you want to see some of our other shows on SoundCloud, you can do that. Also, prior YouTube shows. And then here is the Hall of Fame section. And boy, there's a guy there, Justin Parsley. He looks familiar. He's our third member of the Hall of Fame. And there's Justin. And also, I'm going to pull Justin off the screen. And then I got here more people, just so you see an idea. There's a guy that you used to know. I'm going to move off from him because I know you guys don't want to say anything about him. Omen Black and Soldier GP, a man that Justin Parsley has pinned in Omen Black. Jackson Law, his colleague in XCW. Chris Jones, it's a great list of people. Coach Chris Craven, Bentley, the Kingdom Wrestling and Bolton Town champion Luke Leyland, who fought in Dombey. James Barris, our beloved owner from Cutlery Championship Wrestling, DVG. Nicholas Crenton, Sean Jovi. Got obviously the guys in the foundation, Darkon and Matthew Forsaken. Danny Burns. Big shout out to Danny Burns, who played the NCAA Final Four. The only player from CUNY ever to do that. My buddy here also coming out here is Ronnie Thatcher and C2K, who apparently I still am wondering how he is a 8-time Hall of Famer, but he is an 8-time Hall of Fame. But you guys might be 10-time Hall of Famers by next week. Who knows, right? But love, obviously, C2K. James Taylor, Jam Dog, and a guy that Mr. Taylor doesn't like, Mr. Carnage, our beloved Mr. Carnage, obviously from Cutlery Championship Wrestling and Skulls, and there's Hillbilly Tilly. So that's the list of the Hall of Famers. Hope you enjoyed that. And, before we move on here to some final thoughts, anything else you guys want to talk about or anything else you guys want to say before we move on for the rest of the night?
the trendsetter still taking bookings for 2024. Anywhere and everywhere. It's still a little dream of mine. I still want to continue finishing out my little run. I at least want to do a little run of the backyard scene. I think it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool thing. Backyard wrestlers are really passionate about what they do because we don't get paid for it. It's just going out there and doing what you want to do.
Amen. And you know that we'd love to see you back out there, and we want to see Stayed and Trendy come back, and you do everything that we love. That's why you're a Hall of Famer. Anything else you want to say, Armageddon Shane Davidson, before I get to some closing thoughts?
I will not be taking bookings for the 2024 season or the 2025 season.
But will you at least be making appearances on Sportswire Radio?
Oh, most definitely.
Oh, I'm happy to hear that, because you know what? At the very least, it's a win for us on Sportswire, because that means by you not taking bookings, that means we can book you on Sportswire, maybe induct you into the Hall of Fame more times.
Oh, yeah. Especially the other guy that looks like me.
I think that's going to be like my favorite thing over the next several months, because we've got this TSF Takes group. I'm so looking forward to that. So that's going to be awesome.
Oh, I could be a 3-time,
four-time Hall of Famer. And Justin wants to say that he appreciated me showing the website. Yeah, the website's really cool. If you have a chance, I really hope you check it out anytime at sportswireradio.org. And if you want to listen to us on the radio, we have an internet radio station. We have podcasts. We have some of our YouTube shows up there. The links in the description. We have some of my blogs that I've had press releases for and different articles. So check it out. Support us. And let's get to some closing thoughts here. And I'm going to go to Shane, you first, because Alan Michaels is eating something to stay trendy. So Shane Davidson, I'm going to give you some closing thoughts. Anything else you want to plug, share, or say? And obviously tonight, now it's actually tonight, New York time, on Twitch. What time will you guys be on Twitch?
We're changing our schedule from Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
Okay, what time are you guys on Twitch? Let's go with that tomorrow.
8 to midnight. We will be streaming. 8 to midnight.
So Monday, Wednesday, 8 to midnight?
Yep.
And then Friday, what time are you guys on?
8 to midnight. Friday night. Well, if we're doing Sportswire,
you could do it.
Yeah, that's what I say.
8 to 10.
8 to 10. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine, because we usually have the regular guys on at 10 your time, so that makes sense. Anything else you want to plug?
Like I said, I'm gonna keep saying it to the day I die. If you're going through anything mentally, health wise,
please reach out.
Feel free to reach out.
Absolutely. And again, a lot of people are going through mental health that you wouldn't believe are going through it. A lot of the wrestlers that we have on overseas, it's a big problem right now. It's a big epidemic with a lot of the British independent pro wrestlers, between life, the travel, the different stuff. So reach out to any of us. If you want to talk, just to talk, I'll talk to you. I mean, it includes anybody. So definitely.
I'm your buddy. Just know I'm your buddy.
Amen to that. That's why you're a Hall of Famer, and that's why you probably will be a 3-time Hall of Famer by the end of the year. So let's obviously get to Alan Michaels. Let's definitely stay trendy with these closing thoughts. Obviously, I'm gonna pop into your streams. I'm probably gonna watch some of it tomorrow, Wednesday. I think tomorrow and Wednesday I'll watch some of it, because if I'm on Raw, that's at 10 your time, so I can watch a little bit of the stream tomorrow. Then go on to Sportswire. Then Wednesday, same deal. But until then, let's try to stay trendy and give your closing thoughts, Alan Michaels. And I'm missing the ponytail, by the way.
Oh no, that's still the ponytail.
Oh, I didn't recognize
The
it.
ponytail. It's just I cut some of the dead ends off and stuff. It was pretty uneven, so I had.
I'm way past that point, man. I'm way past that.
But just plug a few things. You can catch me, Scooby Stoney, Shane, Big T, DK, all the TSF guys on all platforms. I have
guys
a
that
link
look like
tree.
you, by the way. Guys that look like you.
Guys that look like me. The guy that looks like me spent all day yesterday making a link tree and making a bunch of different profiles. We're on every platform. We have a link tree.
Tag me, as I say. Tag me. Scooby was tagging me. TSF Takes members. You got a video. You got a post. Just tag me.
Tom, the guy who looks like me actually put the sports report, Sportswire Radio, in the link tree.
Oh, how kind of you.
So now, they'll know exactly where to see all the sports content they need. I'm also going to shamelessly plug Sad Boyville. It's my music career. I just dropped a new song, Switching Lanes, March 6th.
Love it.
I got an EP coming out here soon. You know, I got my hands in a bunch of fires.
End of March, not end of March, end of June, you should be catching The Sins of Our Lives.
Yep, nearing the end of June.
Can't wait to buy that. You know, that's going to be on my list to buy, music to buy. You make sure you get that out there to me.
Gotcha. Twitch, you know, I'm the greatest Madden player currently alive. I will beat anybody in Madden. That goes for anybody. I have video footage of me on Madden beating Shane Davidson by 40 points. I may have lost in the ring, but I won on the sticks. Twitch.tv/Alan Mikaels. You know, it's just it's been a great time being on here, and I can't wait to come on. The guy who looks like me can't wait to get on Friday.
Oh, I am looking forward to Friday night. We're gonna have fun with that guy that looks like you. And Scooby says, I agree with you. Respect Shane for that. Never know who could use someone to talk to. You never know. I mean, there are people, I say it all the time, that go through things that might even be like really successful people, that they're just going through different things. I mean, you know, Robin Williams, right? Robin Williams died years ago, and he's this famous millionaire comedian. You know, look at Lincoln Park, Chester Bennington, right? Committed suicide. Chris Cornell, the Soundgarden and Audio Slave frontman. I mean, it's just people that you never know out there. And,
Anthony Bourdain. I mean, that one gets me, man.
Which one?
Anthony Bourdain.
Yeah, good point. I forgot about that one.
You never know whose life you can save. You never know.
That's it. Listen, it doesn't hurt to have a conversation. You know, it never hurts to be nice to somebody. That's why I'm always saying, you know, hello and goodbye and asking everybody how they are, because you just never know what people go through, especially in this day and age. We're dealing with wars, we're dealing with division, we're dealing with race, we're dealing with sexualities and all these different things in the world. And, you know, but at the end of the day, what brings us together is what's inside our hearts. And these guys definitely have a lot of heart. And these guys are Hall of Famers. They are third and fourth members of our sixth class of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. They are Armageddon Shane Davidson and the trendsetter Alan Mikaels. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice of all wrestling. If you're on sportswireradio.org, you're going back to your regularly scheduled programming. If you're on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, I probably will be here Monday night after Raw. I will be here Tuesday, don't know what time yet, and I'm here Wednesday with Napalm of Legendary Backyard Wrestling in North Dakota. They're on the trampoline. He's going to come literally off the trampoline. He's going to come on to Sportswire. It's going to be kind of fun and a lot of good stuff ahead. And obviously, these guys will be here Friday night. But until then, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. On the number one, get a level of radiation that is Sportswire Radio, where all wrestling